I took legal action against my sister-in-law after she tampered with my prenatal medication because I refused to name my baby after her ex-husband. My husband, Mark, 29 male, and I, 29 female, are expecting our first child after years of struggle with him. We were overjoyed to learn that I was pregnant. However, what should have been a happy occasion turned into a nightmare because of my sister-in-law, Kara, 34 female, who had a terrible history, including a painful divorce after having an affair with her ex-husband's brother. While her ex-husband, Tom, moved on, Kara stayed unmarried, holding on to the concept of him as a member of the family despite the... Kara looked delighted and wanted to be a part of my pregnancy. Initially, I assumed she was simply delighted to be an aunt, but her pleasure quickly took an unusual turn. She continued offering baby names, but they were all variations of Tom. Despite my uneasiness, I attempted to explain to her that Mark and I had previously decided not to name our kid after anyone. I wanted something unique and interesting. Kara was hurt, but I assumed she'd understand. However, she continued to send us baby name lists related to Tom, believing that it would honor the family and be meaningful. I set boundaries, but she did not follow them. Then things took a worrying turn. I had a little pregnancy concern and was pro-VY dead medicine. Kara volunteered to pick it up for me, and I agreed. The next day, after taking the prescription she pro-VY dead, I felt dizzy and sick. I ended up in the emergency room, where doctors determined that the medication I was given was not what I had been prescribed. It was a considerably higher and riskier dosage for pregnancy. Initially, I assumed it was a pharmacy error, but my suspicions rose as Kara was the one who received the pill. I called her to see whether she had noticed anything unusual. Her response astonished me. She laughed at first, saying she chose a higher amount on her own because she wanted me to pay for not naming my child after her ex. She began laughing, but then went on to add that she received a bigger dose since she believed it would benefit me. She spoke it carelessly without regard for the potential ramifications. I was very irritated. I ended up in the ER, and she didn't appear to realize how severe her actions were. She stated she only wanted to help. I informed her that what she did was unlawful and dangerous, and it may have harmed me and my kid. Only then did she begin to apologize, but it seemed insincere at that point. I realized I had to act. After discussing it with Mark, we decided to take legal action. We filed a police report, documented everything, and notified her that we would be pursuing charges for tampering with my prescription. I believe that this was the only way to make her understand how terrible the issue was. This circumstance has undoubtedly strained relations within the family. Kara is attempting to paint herself as the VY Tim, claiming she had no idea it would upset me, but I can't accept it. If she truly cared about my health, she would not have changed my medicine without my knowledge, especially since I am pregnant. Some families believe we're going too far by involving English, claiming that she was only trying to help. However, tampering with drugs is a severe matter, and good intentions do not excuse it. Now I'm torn. I'm worried I'm overreacting, especially since some family members are upset with me and claim it's harming our family. However, I believe she breached a significant threshold that cannot be overlooked. What she did may have hurt me or my baby. If I let this go, it would feel like I am enabling her to intervene in my life and jeopardize our safety simply because she felt she was helpful. I hate that it has come to this, but I feel like I have no option. Perhaps suffering legal consequences will make her realize how serious her acts were. Still, I'm questioning everything, and I'd appreciate any other perspectives. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for pursuing legal action against my sister-in-law for interfering with my medicine simply because I refused to name my child after her ex? Update 1. Hello everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for your concern regarding my health. This means a lot to me. I'm feeling a lot better now. Luckily, my physicians have kept a tight check on me, and I am now back on my original medication, which is safe for my pregnancy. I wanted to give you an update on my problem with my sister-in-law, Kara, since I mentioned pursuing legal action against her for interfering with my medicine in my last. Things have shifted in unexpected ways. I was still absorbing what Kara had done and dealing with the ramifications when she contacted me. She called to apologize, stating she didn't intend for things to escalate, thought she was helpful. Initially, I wanted to trust her. I thought she was sincerely remorseful for interfering with my meds. But just as I was about to accept her apologies, she said something that completely took me off guard. She dismissed me, saying that I should realize that she merely wanted to help. It felt false, as if she was attempting to transfer blame rather than accept responsibility. That wasn't the worst part. Shortly after our conversation, I began hearing reports from other family members about what Kara had said. She was telling everyone that my baby wasn't Mark's. She said this was the reason I did not want to name the baby after a family member. I couldn't believe it. Not only was she attempting to spin the tale about her active VY ties, but she was also putting my marriage and my child's paternity in confusion. When I learned about this, I was filled with rage. Kara's lies were making me mad. I was attempting to protect myself and my pregnant baby, and she was spreading lies to justify her BHA VY, or I questioned her directly, questioning why she had made such an accusation. Instead of accepting responsibility, she dismissed it as a misunderstanding and stated that she did not mean it that way. It was difficult for me to accept. Kara frequently reduced her BHA VY and deflected blame to others, and this seemed like just another example. She seemed to want to divert attention away from her irresponsible BHA VY, and make me appear to be the problem in the family. The manipulation was annoying. I kept thinking about how I was attempting to protect my child and have a good pregnancy, only for her to cast doubt. After speaking with Mark, we realized that we needed to act. Mark phoned various relatives to explain the situation, claiming that Kara was spreading misinformation. We needed to protect our youngster and clarify any misconceptions about our family. The aftermath has been difficult. Some family members have shown their support, while others have reprimanded us for generating unnecessary drama. It's very frustrating since they don't comprehend the entire situation. This is more than simply names and Kara's feelings. It is about keeping my child safe. I feel like I'm battling on two fronts: Kara's manipulation and the family's misunderstanding. Kara's determination becomes clearer as time passes. She is sticking to her story, trying to portray herself as the VY10. I overheard her at a family occasion telling others that I was overdramatic. The more she bends the facts, the more determined I am to remain solid. I never expected to have to approach a family member about something like this, especially at such a terrible moment in my life. Kara's BHA VY has also impacted my interactions with other family members. Some families are concerned about how this will affect future gatherings and relationships. I appreciate their desire to keep things peaceful, but at what cost? Do I have to pretend as if everything is fine while my sister-in-law makes false statements about my marriage and child? I won't do that. I've spoken with friends outside the family, and their advyc has opened my eyes. Many people have encouraged me to remain strong and take notice of everything Kara says or does that could harm my family. It's unsettling to think about how far she'll go to prove her point or manipulate the circumstance. Now I'm trying to concentrate on my pregnancy, but I can't stop thinking about Kara's acts. I understand my right to protect my baby, but I'm also concerned about how this family strife may damage my child in the long run. Will kids hear unpleasant things about their aunt, which could harm our family's reputation? I am so frustrated and fatigued. If things get out of hand, we may have to take more drastic. Update 2. Hello everyone. It has been 6 months since my pre-VYS post, and I have a lot to tell you about what has been happening in my life lately. I'm on bed rest since my pregnancy has become hazardous. This means I should stay in bed as much as possible and minimize stress. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law, Kara, is making it difficult for me to rest. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. This is a sensitive time for me, and all I want to do is focus on my health and getting ready for our baby. Instead, I'm constantly concerned about what Kara will say next. Mark has been amazing throughout this. He supports me every day and makes me feel protected. He understands how badly this is impacting me and has attempted to address Kara about her actions. After months of watching me suffer, he realized he couldn't take it anymore. He and his parents contacted Kara and told her to stop telling lies. They informed her that if she didn't comply, she would be entirely cut off. We all thought that this would help her comprehend how serious the situation was and modify her conduct. Unfortunately, it had the opposite result. Kara refused to listen and made everything worse. She acted like the VY Tim, claiming we were overreacting and that she was simply trying to help, whatever that meant. It was difficult to think she could twist the facts like that, especially given her pre-VYS BHA VY. I knew I needed to watch out for myself and my kid, but it was exhausting. Kara arrived at our home a few days later. I was lying in bed when I heard a big smash on the front door. Mark said, but before he could speak, she barged in. I was afraid. She began shouting, accusing me of wrecking the family. I was horrified and recognized how bad things had become. Mark swiftly stood in front of me, insisting that she go. I appreciated him stepping up, but it made me realize how hazardous the situation was. Kara finally departed, and I was afraid. I had no idea what she was going to do next, and I hated feeling this way in my own home. After discussing it with Mark, we determined we needed to take decisive action. We needed to defend ourselves from Kara. We agreed to file a restraining order. This was something we never imagined we would. It felt drastic, but we couldn't ignore reality any longer. We needed to make sure we were safe, especially with the baby on the way. Obtaining a restraining order is not straightforward. We needed to meet with a lawyer who ADVY set us on what measures to take. We started collecting evidence of Kara's actions. It was difficult to recall all of the mistakes she had made and said, but we knew they were significant. We documented every incident in which she disseminated misinformation and made threats. Meanwhile, my anxiousness worsened. Being on bed rest gave me too much time to ponder, and I was concerned about how Kara's behavior would affect our baby. I also thought about how this could affect our family connections. The prospect of raising a child in such an uncertain atmosphere was frightening. At the same time, Kara persisted. She continued to propagate her VY-Lu rumors. I began hearing from other family members about what she was saying, which made me feel sick. I wanted to enjoy my pregnancy, but instead I got caught up in the commotion. Mark did all necessary to keep me safe from the circumstance. He contacted family to explain the situation and clear up any confusion. Some family members were supportive, others were not. Some others said we were generating too much drama by taking legal action and that we should just get along. This frustrated me since they didn't realize how bad Kara's behavior was. This wasn't just family gossip. It was about our health and safety. Kara's active VY ties have also had an impact on our relationships with other family members. Some others are concerned about how this would impact future family gatherings. I understand that they want to keep the peace, but I can't just act like everything is fine while Kara spreads lies about us. I will not let her destructive behavior or dictate our lives. I've also started telling friends outside the family about the predicament. Their support has been essential. They advise me to be tough and keep track of Kara's actions. They make me understand that I'm not overreacting and that I have every right to safeguard my child. It's good to have a support network beyond my family, especially when things get stressful. We are working on securing the restraining order, but I'm also trying to focus on my pregnancy right now. I truly hope we receive the restraining order because Kara's presence in our lives is becoming a hazard for everyone. I'll keep you folks updated on the results. Update 3. Hello everyone, it's been a few weeks since my pre-VYS update. I have a lot to tell you about what's been happening. We ultimately received the restraining order against Kara, which is a huge relief, but things were pretty stressful before that, and I'd like to share that with you. Kara emailed me before we received the restraining order, which was a huge mistake. In her message, she threatened to harm me and my baby if I followed through on the restraining order. I was stunned. It was difficult to imagine that someone I thought of as family could say anything so cruel and dangerous. It seemed like she was attempting to intimidate me into quitting. The email was filled with claims that I was the one ruining the and I couldn't believe what I was reading. Reading that email made me feel strange. I felt terrified and angry. How did she believe it was acceptable to threaten me? It was difficult not to let anxiety take over. I continued to be concerned about how her threats might affect my pregnancy and mental health. I couldn't let her dominate my life anymore, especially because I wanted to focus on my health and prepare for my baby. Mark was naturally angry when I showed him the email. He couldn't believe Kara had gone this far. He instantly instructed me to save it as proof. He realized we had to take her warning seriously, so we started organizing to consult with our lawyer. It was exhausting to deal with all of this while trying to remain optimistic throughout my pregnancy, but I knew I needed to be strong for my baby. While we were working on the restraining order, I couldn't stop thinking about how Kara's behavior had altered what began as a silly quarrel had escalated into serious threats, and I was very hurt. I'd always thought of her as family, but now she appeared like a stranger who intended to hurt us rather than serve us. After a few difficult days, we went to court to file for the restraining order. I was apprehensive, but I knew it was important. With the email as proof, I thought the judge would understand how severe our situation was. During the hearing, I detailed everything that had occurred from the prescription to the gossip to Kara's threats. I noticed that the judge was paying careful attention and taking notes. When we received the restraining order, we felt a big relief. However, I realized this was only the start of a... Despite the restraining order, I am still uneasy. Kara had previously demonstrated her unpredictable nature, and I was concerned that she would try to contact me again, especially given her recent conduct. The concept of constantly glancing over my shoulder is exhausting. I want to enjoy my pregnancy, but instead I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. Mark and I discussed how to proceed. We knew we needed to maintain our distance from Kara, but we also didn't want to isolate ourselves from the rest of the... This was a sensitive position. We recognized we needed to be careful what we informed our family. We didn't want to engage them in the drama, but we also needed to keep ourselves safe. It's been a wild ride since the restraining order was issued. We must consider how to handle future family functions, especially because Kara understands how to manipulate circumstances so that she appears to be the VY10. Friends who still speak with her say she's attempting to elicit sympathy by stating we're overreacting and that I'm trying to turn everyone against. It annoys me that she keeps spreading lies about us. When I hear from family about what Kara is saying, I become concerned and upset. I just want to enjoy this period in my life without any turmoil. It's hard to keep focused when I know she's attempting to cause trouble. I need to remind myself that I am not the problem here. I am doing everything I can to protect my family, and I refuse to let her rule our lives any longer. Update 4. Hello everyone. It's been a few weeks since my pre-VYS post, and I have a lot to discuss. First and foremost, we had our baby last month, and I couldn't be happier. Holding our baby temporarily VY aided all of our fears. The joy of parenthood